Welcome back, everybody, to the daily show where I'll be doing technical analysis on big mega cap stocks. So, before we get started, please hit that like button, and 150 likes on this video would be greatly appreciated, guys. And if you're new here, consider subscribing. Now, if you want to support the channel and get my daily trade ideas, swing trade ideas, live trading, and all kinds of setups, definitely check out their link down below in the description for Patreon. And now let's get right into the market first. We got Dow Jones going up 0.75%. We got Nasdaq going up 0.55%, S&P up 0.58%, and Russell going up 0.59%. 11 sectors, pretty much all in the green today except energy lagging behind. Led the way on top, financial, consumer defensive, healthcare, utilities. So not actually technology leading the way. So there is some warning signals out there, and we'll talk about it in a minute. Stock market map. What do we have here on stock market map? We got Microsoft up 0.74%, Nvidia flat, and now I think it's down 2%. There is some news around Nvidia. We got Meta going up. We got Amazon flat, Apple up 0.5%, and Visa, they do have earnings now, and I think another one which is Starbucks also reporting earnings. UNH, a big name from healthcare, took a hit again today, down 2.56%. Now we do have all these earnings that you can see. This morning we got SoFi, PayPal, UPS, and they were not good, especially from UPS, PayPal. Coca-Cola had a good earnings. Then we got Spotify. I mean, this was a total a scam of a stock. How it actually moved today, because it went down about $50, $60 and then recovered everything pretty much end of the day. Visa just reporting earnings right now. Then we got Snap already crapped, and then we got Starbucks. First Solar also down right now. So if you want to take a screenshot, go ahead and do that. We also have big earnings coming out tomorrow night, and that's going to move the market, even some in the morning, like Caterpillar. Then we have Microsoft, Meta, Qcom, Robinhood, followed by on Thursday, we got Eli Lilly, Roblox, CBS, McDonald's right here, and then we have Amazon and Apple, the biggest one for this week. And now let's get right into Apple stock. On Apple stock, it's up 0.5%. So you can see after that big move to the upside on that 90-day pause rally, things are just moving slowly to the upside. And we have earnings coming up, and there is a gap on top, two gaps on bottom. So I don't know how things are going to play out. A lot of people like to do prediction for earnings, and I would stay neutral here on Apple, because I'm not expecting some massive beat out of Apple. Last few earnings were also shitty, so Apple, I'm not expecting anything good out of Apple. But you guys saw that, bad earnings, they buy that dip. Good earnings, it was a decent earnings from a Google stock. The gap up from that Google earnings did not hold. As a matter of fact, today came back and pretty much down to a new low for this week, which was what was it, 159. So things are playing differently in the market. Apple could be, getting that worse earnings. There might be a drop, and then who knows? Just like Spotify, they start buying that dip. So I would like to get a dip. Let me be honest with you guys. I would like to get a dip on Apple, because we sold all our positions here on Apple, and now in cash to buy the next dip on Apple stock. And if this thing dips, somewhere here close to 190 or maybe even below that, that would be fantastic to pick up shares, or even a longer expiration calls. So as of right now, Apple, I would say stay away until earnings, and let's see where the stock goes after earnings, and then you can pick whether you want to short or you want to go long here on Apple stock, depending on how this earnings actually play out, and it's going to move the market as well. We got these big companies reporting earnings tomorrow night: Microsoft, Meta, and then Thursday night you got Apple and Amazon. So your key line in the sand for Apple here, definitely this 5-day moving average. To round things up, I would say 209, and then the next support 207, all the way down to 200 to 201. Gap fill reversal can act as a support. To the upside, 213 breaks, it can move up easily up to this gap, 220 to 221. On Google, stock is down 0.22%, so it's kind of a flat day on Google. But one thing I want to point out, not only in this gap up on earnings faded, we came back and pretty much low of the week. I mean, last 3 days, Google was down, including today. And you can see came down to 159.39 today before getting a bounce and closing just over that support 162. So going into tomorrow's session, if Google wants to move from here, definitely needs to hold this 5-day moving average 162, and then you're going to see a push up to this 50-day moving average 165, and over that you're going to see 170. Now Google does not hold 162. In that case, watch out for the next big level, which is going to be down here 13-day moving average 158, and that's where we found some support, even though it did not hit 158 level exactly, but it was close. 158 gives up, then the next one and the gap right here just under 155. And Amazon stock is absolutely flat on the day, and only I guess maybe 3 or 4 people, maybe not even that, including myself. I called it out this morning that Amazon was down with some news, especially with Trump and Bezos, and it was down to this low right at opening. And this is where I picked up some 190 calls on Amazon, and they were pretty cheap. Within just maybe 15-20 minutes, it was up over 40%. Nice juicy profit on that trade, and knowing that there is earnings, I'm not gonna hold this, so got out for a nice profit. And then I mean, this thing rallied even more up to 188, almost going in the money, guys. Insane moves just before earnings. And why I actually bought that, because it was near the support right here, 184. It was slightly under that support. So, I mean, with earnings, definitely there is a possibility shorts will cover and this thing will push up and move higher. And we got what we wanted from this trade. So, all these trade ideas are available on Patreon. And only if you're serious, definitely check out that link down in the description. Now, with that being said, 184, your key line in the sand, and then 190 will be the resistance to watch on Amazon. If that's clear, it's heading up to this 50-day moving average 195, and then we have a gap down here just slightly under 200. 184 gives up. Next critical level right down here, 181 to 180, and below that we have this gap fill reversal that can act as a support, 176.78. On Tesla stock, it's up over 2%. So a couple things I want to talk about here on Tesla. You can see back to back 2 days, it came back after that breakout, retesting this trend line, went back up, came back in today, retesting this support 280. And if you call this dip, well, kudos to you. Nice dip. It's up nearly $12 from the dip here. And one thing, guys, we bought Tesla calls before right here, and I sold half of my position right here and did not even add. And these are like these are going to expire next year. So, a lot of time. It came back, a lot of chop, just hang on to it. And now that position is up quite a bit. And I think if this, breakout here, it's going to hold, we might see Tesla going up even more, possibly up to, 330, 300, maybe even more than that. So it's in that process right now. And we're seeing a lot of volume here on Tesla, at least in last 2 days. Today, not much, but definitely not really low volume here on Tesla. So 280, it's still your key line in the sand, and if this thing can hold over this trend line and over 280, it's heading up to 300, and over that you're going to see a big pump. That's going to be a massive pump up to 330. Only below 280, this thing will fall back down to 275 trend line and the 5-day moving average, and below that we have unfinished business down here, this gap right here at 260. Microsoft also going up 0.74%, and the rally could be getting started even more tomorrow night. Who knows what the earnings are, but so far it's making a nice move to the upside. Yes, that is a double bottom you're seeing on my screen, and we're pretty much heading up to 400 right here on Microsoft. Now, that depends how things will move tomorrow night. And I would not be gambling going into any short-term calls or puts, because of how big of a move we can have on Microsoft, and how big of an effect we can have in overall stock market. Imagine if this thing is up 20 bucks, market will be up tomorrow night. And if this thing is down, then the market will be down. At least it will take an effect, especially with a big mega cap stock like Microsoft. So 390, it retested again today. Support found, held, went back up, and now if this thing is over this high, 396, it's heading up to 400, possibly up to 403, and then 413. 390 gives up. Next critical level to watch right here, 386, 384, and then 379. On AMD, it's down 0.34%. So AMD, if you look at my screen, it cannot get past 98. We got up to 97.18 today. Again, rejection came back, and now with some bad news. I think for Nvidia, things are pulling back. I don't know what the news is, but I'll look into it. Once I'm actually done with this video, and it's back right here at 95. So tomorrow, 5-day moving average, which is rising, that cannot hold tomorrow, 95. It'll possibly come down to 92 and then 90 all the way down to 87. If this thing breaks and holds 98, it's heading up to 101 to close that gap, and possibly from there it can go much, much higher. So Netflix up 1.37%, another $15 up on the day with some low volume on it today. And things are just pushing one way to the upside. Where is the end? Nobody knows. And the market cap just kept going up nearly $500 billion. 479, but close to 500, right? So if this line breaks, well, things will change very quickly. And I mean, this thing already, multiple days going over the Bollinger Band and then pulling back in. And now you can see the Bollinger Band expanded. So, like I said, a couple days ago in my video that 1150 can come, and now Bollinger Band will allow that because it extended all the way up to 1144. So that's going to be the next stop. But we get any pullback, you can see close to this trend line and also 5-day moving average, it came back 1096 and support held. So if that gives up at some point, you're going to see Netflix rolling over and coming down to retest 1066, and from there it can go much, much lower. But for right now, upside target 1150, and if this thing is staying up within this uptrend, it can go there very quickly. On Meta, it's a 0.85% and now gave back all those gains because of Snap crapping after hour right now. So now tomorrow, critical support to watch 538 to 535 right here, this zone and this trend line if this thing comes back tomorrow. But there is no play unless you're one of those traders who likes to gamble with earnings. Then definitely game on for you tomorrow, because if this thing pulls back here, as long as the support holds, it can push back up to 558, which we got really close to it today. Now, if this support gives up right here after filling the gap, it can come down a bit more easily down to right here, 506.88. There is another gap down here, so keep an eye on that if this thing pulls back under 535. Now, Meta breaks over 558, then it's heading higher to this 90-day pause rally candle, which is 586, and from there, it can even go up to 600. So Nvidia stock was flat on the day, and now it's down slightly down to 107 or 106 right now. So Nvidia, you can see intraday came down to 107 and pretty much retesting that as a support. And now with some news, it's actually down nearly 2%. So we'll see how that plays out tomorrow. But Nvidia 107 gives up. You can see, yes, the market is making, nice progress to the upside, but not with Nvidia. We got lower highs and lower lows, and so far there is a lower high here. We did not get over this high from that 90-day pause. So you can see high, lower high, another lower high, new low, lower high, new low. This was a lower high, and yes, we did not make a new low, but this is also a lower high here. So Nvidia, if this thing comes down under 107, nothing will save it. It will possibly come down to 100 here to close this gap, and from there it can go much, much lower. So Nvidia, we'll see how that plays out. But if this thing is over 107, then it can push up to this high right here, 115 and then 118. And that's all I have for you guys. in this video, and I'll definitely keep you guys updated. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great night.